Did you happen to catch what Jade Cargill recently revealed? This kind of slipped through the cracks when it first came out, but as soon as I saw it, I knew it was worth looking into. This is about one of WWE's most talked about emerging talents, and she's at an interesting point in her career right now. Jade just lost a really hard match at SummerSlam. A lot of people were shocked when Jade lost to Tiffany Stratton because everyone thought Jade would win the women's title coming into the event. This wasn't just another match, it was meant to be her big moment. She had recently won the Queen of the Ring tournament, and WWE had been getting her ready for this kind of attention since the day she signed. Everything appeared ready for her to take that big step. Earlier this year, Jade officially became a singles competitor after a successful run as a tag team. Creating her own stories, she developed a fierce feud with Naomi, which turned into one of her early WWE highlights. Not only did she beat Naomi once, but she actually pulled off the win twice, first at WrestleMania and again at Evolution. Those triumphs seemed to reinforce her momentum. The components were there: the praise, the fans' interest, and the steady growth. On paper, SummerSlam looked like the night she'd take it all, but that didn't happen. Tiffany Stratton, on the other hand, won the championship, leaving fans wondering what had gone wrong. But here's the twist: what if that SummerSlam result, or even that match happening the way it did, wasn't the original intention at all? This takes us to two major points: a personal reveal from Jade herself and some previously reported details from WWE's Unreal series, along with additional behind-the-scenes conversation. It turns out WWE originally wanted Jade to hold the belt much earlier. We're talking late 2024 or early 2025. In fact, there were internal discussions about her defending the championship against Nia Jax at WrestleMania. That was the roadmap, but as we know now, those ideas never came to fruition, and the trajectory of her career shifted in a fundamental way. This is one of those moments in wrestling where you can see just how much a single change in circumstances can entirely alter a superstar's career. If we rewind to last year, there was one sequence on SmackDown that really perplexed folks. In a backstage scene, Jade was depicted lying on the hood of a car, an odd and dramatic image. WWE played it as a whodunit mystery angle. The moment it aired, fans were already debating about whether it was just storyline drama or whether something real had happened. Some stories suggested it was simply a creative decision to give her a break from television. But then, other publications started thinking she was truly injured, and the angle was a ploy to write her off TV without making it too obvious. The conflicting stories generated uncertainty, and then PW Insider came out with a lone report claiming that Jade wasn't wounded at all. According to them, she had been training at the Performance Center for months and this was completely a planned absence. Now, Jade has finally cleared things up, and the truth is quite different. In a recent interview on the Club 520 podcast, she disclosed that she was, in fact, injured, and not just with some small tweak. She had suffered a neck injury in late 2024 that was serious enough to raise the idea of surgery. For now, she has chosen to delay going under the knife, although she conceded that, like many wrestlers, she will definitely need it someday. In her own words, "I didn't tear anything. It was more of a neck injury that could have led to surgery, but I didn't require it. Eventually, I will, like all wrestlers do." For Jade, who has spent her whole sports career avoiding significant injuries, this was a huge mental shift. She commented about how awful it was to be forced to sit on the sidelines, unable to wrestle or prove herself. "This was something that I had to sit out," she explained, adding that it screws with you mentally because you're caught taking everything in without being able to go out and exhibit what you can do. When she finally returned at Elimination Chamber, the deafening roar from the audience made it one of her favorite wrestling experiences ever. Now, with the injury behind her, she feels fully ready to move forward. Thinking back to when the injury happened, I recall feeling like I was one of the only people questioning, what exactly is WWE doing here? That whole affair seemed weird. There were no prior reports about Jade being injured, no signs she was preparing to take time away. It's not like they hinted at her going on a break. Then, all of nowhere, she's gone from television. And this is during a time when she's actively partnering with Bianca Belair and there's still the Naomi angle forming in the background. They were even teasing slight envy from Naomi toward Jade because of Bianca's success, which might have been expanded into a fantastic storyline. So, from a logical sense, why would you just yank her from TV? It's not like she's someone who disappears for months to focus on outside endeavors, like Roman Reigns with movies. It just didn't make sense unless there was either an injury or anything important happening in her personal life. The excuse from PW Insider, that she wasn't hurt and was just taking time off, never quite lined up with the facts, especially given their revelation came out on Thanksgiving, a day when wrestling news sites are at their slowest, making it an odd moment to drop a huge scoop. Meanwhile, Other outlets, Meltzer, Fightful, and others, were all saying she was indeed injured, even though the exact facts were unknown. That made more sense, and now we know they were the ones who got it right. PW Insider's version turned out to be wrong. Looking at how WWE handled things, I think they made the best possible move under the circumstances. If a superstar is hurt, you don't push them through it, you allow them time to recuperate, try if they can avoid surgery, and then bring them back when they're ready. That's exactly what occurred, and in a bizarre way, it might have actually been advantageous for her. Without the injury, WWE might have pressed ahead with a dramatic split storyline between Jade and Bianca Belair much earlier. That would have settled the tension between them long before now, and the payoff would not have felt as large. With the injury postponing things, the conflict is still accessible as a fresh and possibly major moment for the women's division down the line. Now, following SummerSlam, Jade is still in a position where WWE can build her back up. Yes, losing to Tiffany Stratton may have been disheartening for those expecting her to become champion, but it might also be part of a longer-term plan. If WWE is playing the slow burn game, they could be setting her up for an even larger triumph later on, one that comes with more anticipation and crowd support than she had previously. Her story also serves as a fantastic example of how quickly things in wrestling can change. One day, you're on pace to win a title and defend it at WrestleMania, and the next, you're out for months battling with a neck ailment no one even knew about. The secrecy about her absence irritated some admirers, but now that the truth is out, the decision to keep information private makes more sense. Injuries are always tough in wrestling, you never want to lose momentum, but sometimes it's unavoidable. In Jade's case, she's returned with momentum still intact. That's not easy to do. Many wrestlers come back after injury to find their slot has been stolen, or their storyline cooled off, but the ovation she got at Elimination Chamber proves that people are still involved in her. That's a significant advantage as she moves toward the next stage of her career. Looking ahead, WWE has a lot of possibilities with her. They could go for the obvious rematch with Tiffany Stratton, build toward the inevitable Bianca Belair confrontation, or throw her into a whole new feud to liven things up. She has the personality, the beauty, and the physical ability to fit into numerous storylines at the top of the women's division. Ultimately, the big shock in all of this isn't just that Jade was injured, it's how that injury radically affected her career chronology. WWE's booking had to change, storylines had to shift, and opportunities that were locked in suddenly departed. Yet, despite all that, she's still standing in a position where she may become a cornerstone of the division. If anything, the detour might have made her story even more intriguing. When she eventually does win that championship, the route she had to get there will make it feel that much more earned.